For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast is fueled by the Man Shake. I lost 30 kilos in 10 months using this meal replacement shake. If you want to support the show and max in my weight loss journey, or to even start your own, click the link in the description below. The Man Shake. Real blokes, real results.
For the Players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 8+ years in that games meeting combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join us as the conversations happen, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are watching us if you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. We endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Especially, not that one. No one, you can't get that one. That one got DMCA'd. We can't do that one anymore. How are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad.
Look, I know we've been starting off every episode like this for the last X amount of weeks, but fucking lockdown 6, ladies and gents, and peoples, lockdown number 6. We almost got out of 5, and then the restrictions eased, and then we're like, fuck you, lockdown 6. So that's where we're at right now. So last week when Max made the proclamation that maybe we would be in the room together again,
I couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah, he was so wrong. He was lying, straight up lying, just unquestionably lying. But that's all good. It's all good.
Bloody ridiculous.
It's dumb,
but it is what it is. You know, Ryan went to the gym, and now we're back in fucking lockdown.
Yeah, if we've learned anything, it's I go to the gym, and then within about 2 or 3 days, lockdown kicks in again, and that's exactly what happened. I did go to the gym, and I think it's my fault, Max. It's me.
Look, if I wanted to blame someone, I guess blaming you is all right.
Well, who else would you blame?
Who knows? Can always blame Sydney. It's what I've been doing for a while now.
We could. But how else has your week been, apart from the usual quarantine bonkers bullshit? How goes it?
I mean, the week's been pretty cruisy. Work's been quiet still because of the fact that, we had eased restrictions, so they were back at a 25% capacity. Now that we're back in lockdown, I imagine I'll have bugger all to do at work next week. Although, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But, life must go on.
It does. Which is a shame sometimes. I do really get kind of bummed out that life may continue. But what are you going to do about it? You just fucking give up?
Yeah, exactly. What about you? How was your week been?
My week has been fine. Nothing too major. More work-based things of heading into the future, as I alluded to last week. So a bit more setting up on that, which is cool. I had a couple of big-ish meetings, which was fun, solidifying that path, which is fantastic. Other than that, my plans got straight ruined. I was supposed to catch up with Dylan, co-founder of the Pop Culture. I haven't seen him in about 6 months. It feels like 6 months anyway. And we were going to go to the movies and see the Suicide Squad. And then, so we can't go do that. That was so instead, I just sat in this room anyway and ate the same amount of popcorn that I had planned on eating at the cinema. And it was awesome. Because really, the movie that we're going to go see...
Because I missed out on chicken and waffles last night.
Oh, yeah. Because
I also had plans last night.
We too were going to chicken and waffles. That was the plan. Chicken and waffles was the plan. and then we both got shafted.
Well, it was funny. So my original plan for Friday night was my birthday happened this week. It was on Monday.
Happy birthday to Max. I don't even post on socials or anything, but happy birthday, sir.
But my sister and my mum bought me this box set of ramen from one of my favorite stores from Japan when I was over there a couple of years ago. So they bought it. They bought these box noodles and has their like soup mixture in it. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cook pork and I'm gonna make ramen because I get as much as I love ramen, it tends to upset my stomach a little bit. So I'm like, I'll cook it Friday. That way, if I do get an upset stomach, I'm at least at home and not at work. And then I get a text that says, hey, we're going to go out for dinner for Friday night. It's my birthday. I'm like, yep, cool, no worries. I'll put off my ramen. And then, bam, lockdown. So I spent 12 hours cooking roast pork yesterday for my ramen tonight.
Oh, I can tell in your face
excited.
that you are quite excited for this ramen.
I'm so keen. I mean, I haven't had this particular ramen in like 2 years since I was in Japan. So I'm very excited.
Ooh, that's nice. That's something worth looking forward to.
Oh, yeah. It's the simple things in life like food that I look forward to.
How good is food, though? Like I said, chicken and waffles, I haven't had that in, the longest time. I think the last time I had it, I went with you, I think. Was it you, me, and Dylan?
So. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it does sound right. And that was, fuck, that'd be good. Anyway. But, if you've not been eating food, you've not been having birthdays, what did you do for your birthday in a restriction world?
I hung out with my kid all day and got myself an Xbox Series X. Which you will hear about in the what I've been playing this week.
Well, let's cut straight to it. What have you been playing on your new Xbox Series X?
So I bought Death's Door.
God, I want to play that so bad.
Which is the game that everyone's currently raving about. So it's like this
Ravening about?
Yeah. It's essentially this 2.5D isometric Dark Souls style game where you play as, is it a raven or a crow?
It's a raven, same thing. Yeah. Fucking black.
I'm not very far in. I've beaten the first boss. The game looks absolutely gorgeous. So it plays similar to any of those style games. You have a melee attack, you have a ranged attack. The ranged attacks are limited. So you have gems that equate to how many arrows you can shoot at once. Once you've run out of those gems, they do replenish over time. They seem to come back after you kill some enemies. And then there's just little mini puzzles, like shooting. Your arrows can catch on fire, so you can light other bonfires to open up secret passages. Game's really cool. There are no health bars on bosses, but they are very visualized on how close they are to death. They get big cracks in them as they take the damage, so you can kind of tell. You can play that risk reward of go in for the kill. Yeah, that's been fun. I've re-downloaded Forza. Forza's still great. Looks amazing. Played Skate for a little bit. Played some Jet Set Radio. But the main game that I've been playing this week is been playing Cris Tales still.
Yeah, man, you've had that bit a big hunk of time with that game now, eh?
Oh, my kid went to her grandparents' house on Wednesday, so I got to play all day Wednesday while my wife was working. And the game is so good. So without spoiling too much, the story is compelling enough that it's driving me through, but what really brings me back to this game is its combat system. Its uniqueness in using its gimmick of time travel and sending enemies to the future or to the past and then bringing them back to the present is just such a unique way to handle a turn-based RPG fighting system. So, for example, I spoke about it a little bit last week with the, you can
rusting the enemies over time.
Yeah, you can use wet enemies in the present, send them to the future, and their armor will rust. You get other things like poison, for instance. Poison lasts X amount of turns and will do X amount of damage per turn. But if you send them to the future, they take all of that damage in one go because they've skipped that many turns. And then there's obviously, just the way the enemies differ from sending them to the future to the past. So they're weaker in the past. They have less health. They're worth less experience. But when you send them to the future, they get stronger because they've essentially leveled up. So their whole dynamic changes. Their attack patterns can change. What they do is different. And it's just a really interesting way to tackle that system, that fighting system of a 2D RPG. The only issue I have is it's very much predicated on how the way the game is set up. So the left side of the screen is always past and present.
Mm-hmm.
The right side of the screen is always present and future.
Mm-hmm.
So only enemies on the left-hand side of the screen can you send to the past, and only enemies on the right side of the screen can you send to the future. You can never send a creature on the left-hand side of the screen to the future.
Okay.
But you can play around those scenarios by sending them to the past, doing the thing, and then bringing them back to the present, which is essentially still a time skip. But it really makes you think about how you're going to tackle the enemies or bosses depending on what you're fighting. It's not one of those mindless, you just keep hitting X to attack and you kind of don't worry about it.
Yep.
Because it also has a parry system. So if you hit X at the right time as you get hit, you can parry the blow and you'll take significantly less damage. If you do it a little bit too early, you will basically glance the blow. So you'll take a little bit more damage, but you won't take full damage. So you've got to be paying attention. It's not one of those things that you can just zone out and just button mash X and just keep attacking and progress through.
Very nice. Very double noise.
But yeah, other than that, I have not played much. But yeah, Cris Tales has been the main game for me this week.
Nice.
I'm still loving it. About 6, 7, 8 hours deep now. I think I've gone to the first 3 areas, done a few bosses. Yeah, it's really fun.
Very nice.
And that picture book art style it kind of looks like a pop-up picture book. It's absolutely fantastic. It fits the thematic of the game very well, I feel.
Fantastic. Well, for those that don't know, we do a stream on Twitch with every episode. If you're listening to this not live, I just want to turn out the Mullet Show for resubscribing for Tier 1 for his 41th minor row, and Raider Type R for the Prime sub for his 7th month. Thank you to both of you.
Did you say 41th?
41th. 42nd. 41th. It's 41st. I'm fucking tired. But yeah, so big thank you to Turn Left Distribution for the code for Cris Tales. Obviously, Max is having a good time with it. Speaking of a game that
I am playing on PS5.
And you are playing on the PS5. So, speaking of games that we're both having a good time with, thank you to the team over at Koch Media and Warner Brothers. They have provided both Max and I access to the Back 4 Blood closed/open beta. This is the latest game from Turtle Rock, best known for Left 4 Dead. And let's just say, if you want Left 4 Dead, but on your PlayStation, and
like looking way better,
and next gen, and performing way better, and the body's not disappearing because of arbitrary, classifications, you should buy Back 4 Blood. So I was playing some this afternoon with Paul James, and Paul James from Player 2. And we're having a ton of fun, and Max and I are likely to play some more tonight while the beta's still open. But yeah, it couldn't be any more Left 4 Dead.
So how far through did you guys get? Because obviously, you guys messaged me and said, "Hey, can we jump on?" But I had fatherly duties to do, and when I said, "Are you guys still on?" You're like, "No, we both had to leave for our fatherly duties." Yeah, how far did you get through?
3, I think, 4, I think. I don't know,
okay, so I think I'm on the last section of the first act.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did like that in like this one run, which was great. So it was myself, Paul, and third player that got a match made to us, and the fourth being a bot. The bots are straight up useless in this, by the way, what we found. But
absolutely trash.
Yeah, so like when it was just Paul and I, and we got munted, the bots just kind of wandered off. Like, can you revive us, bots? Like, la 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 la. Like, all right, well, we're done. And that's kind of what. And then both our children got up in our business, so we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's that. But it looks fantastic. It's for me, it's like all the details. Like they've taken, because I don't have a strong history with Left 4 Dead, but I did play a lot of Left 4 Dead 2 on PC. So yeah, like it just gives me that exact same energy. Like there's the standing zombies, there's your bloaters, and there's all your other cool variants, and it even has little safe rooms that you travel between, and it like I understand that Left 4 Dead is technically a Valve property.
It's very much a spiritual successor.
But this is Turtle Rock's work. That is Turtle Rock's work, and this is them going, well, we want that, and let's do it. Yeah. So they just made it, and it's fucking mint. The energy's the same. Like, it's just, like, the characters are cool. It's all well voice acted. Some, like, similar... Like, there are voice actors that I couldn't pick, but to me, they sound familiar. So I was like, oh, I wonder who these peeps are. But, it's cool. So cool.
So I was playing last night with a friend of mine, Zill, and we were playing... we got match made into a full group of 4, and the other 2 guys were just griefing us because there's friendly fire in this game, similar to that of Left 4 Dead. And I was playing... I play these games without guns, so I was running in, getting up in everyone's business, hitting them with baseball bats and fire axes and stuff, because one of the new things in this game is they've brought in player cards.
Yes.
And you can equip player cards to help out your team. So I was running basically boosting stamina, and my last card was on melee kill, gain 2 health.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there with a fire axe, just pounding these zombies, just getting health constantly. It was great. And then these guys were just shooting me in the back. So when they died, we just left them. We're like, we're not going to revive you. You can. So that was fun. They ended up leaving. Zill and I managed to finish the level out with just the 2 of us. The levels are unique enough that they all feel different. There's different objectives in each level, which is awesome fun. It still has that horde mode mentality of certain areas, similar to that of Left 4 Dead 2, or similar to any of these co-op zombie shooter games. There's always, if you open this door, if you press this button, if you alert these animals, there's going to be a horde. There's going to be tons of zombies coming in. And it does get pretty hectic at times, especially if you're not using a gun.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you go the choice, because I am a big old scaredy when it comes to games like this, because I like to keep a distance. So I went straight for rifles or assault rifles, and I hung back. And I did have like a firearm in case shit got a little bit nasty. And I decked my cards out very similarly. The first thing I did was replace my melee punch with a knife, which is becomes like a one shot. Because if I'm sitting up top and I'm helping clear the space for the other guys to run through, if anything comes up behind me, I may not have time to turn and switch to my sidearm or start use my precious rifle ammo on a dude that's right next to me. So I'll just start shanking with the knife, and then I focus on like reload time and I think it was critical hits and stuff like that was what I really focused my card on. And I like that because like this card system is fun, because I think the way I was gauging it, like they kind of expose new ones as you play. So as you go through the campaign, you'll pick up more.
Well, as you finish a level, you get reward points, and you can spend those in the base town area, the hub area, and you can unlock cards that way.
Yeah, but you go in with your base deck, and at the end of every level, you pull cards from your base deck is how I think it was working. So then you build the currency, like there's copper, which you find throughout, and then you get supply crates at the end, depending on your objectives and how many kills you got and stuff like that. And then use them to sort of add to this deck. And I quite like that, because it does add this cool kind of buff feature. Because once again, having played a lot of, I say a lot of Left 4 Dead, but I didn't really like go into it deep. So I don't remember there being this kind of mild RPG systems. It was just you're a dude, you go in and you survive the round and that's it, right? Is that am I remembering correctly?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. So this is a great little improvement. I love it. It allows you to sort of specialize the class that you want to. And as Puck mentions in the chat, there are weapon mods as well. So you find them throughout, and you can add like slight variants. But Puck mentions that you want to be able to take them off. I don't even notice you couldn't take them off. But I'll find out tonight when I play some more, I guess. But
yeah, they drop on the gun. Once you change guns, you can't. They just stick to that.
I am.
As far as I'm aware as well.
So as in take it off and drop it and put it back on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you got like for instance, because there's tiered weapons, so they've got the color rarity of like white, blue, green,
Yellow,
purple,
yeah.
orange, I think. So like if you're running a white sniper rifle and then you find it in blue, it's going to do more base damage, but all your attachments are on the first one and the second gun's got no attachments. You can't seem to swap them over and bring them with you.
And that seems to be Puck's problem as
Yeah.
well, especially around that. But that's cool. Yeah, I just like I was basic bitching that shit, just looking at the straight stats. Like, does it have more damage? Yes, thank you.
You see the green arrow up and you're like, yep, sweet, that's
That's
me.
pretty much like that's how I play most. Like that's how I play Assassin's Creed and shit. I was like, is it up in the ones that I
mean,
like?
for the
Thank
most
you.
part, that's fine. It's not it's not going to make too much of a difference. But the only time I ran into trouble with using the melee weapon was when that big boy spawned in the first map.
That big ogre. Yeah.
Like,
So
I just could not hit him.
the big
Like,
part.
he's massive. I just could not hit him.
The big part of if you guys remember from the Game of the Year Game of the Year awards last year, where they showed off that gameplay footage where you go into the tunnel and you fight the big ogre, that is primarily part of what you will play in the beta. Like that's one of the first handful of levels. So you sort of go in and you see it, and you go into that little underground tunnel. So like seeing that thing it was very funny though. It did happen to like clip onto thing and kind of this weird spinny for a little while, and then it recentered itself and it was all good.
Well, we had a problem today because similar to that of Left 4 Dead, once you get to a safe room, all of your companions have to be in the safe room before you can close the door and move to the next level.
Yeah.
Our bot wouldn't get off the bloody sentry gun that we set up. He's just standing there. I had to go over there and punch him, and then he teleported over the bridge. I'm like, okay, bizarre.
Yeah.
But
So
again, it's still that's what you get for there's bound to be a little bit of hiccups in a beta. That's what they're for.
yeah. So that's what this beta for us.
And ideally, you'll want to play this game with 4 people.
Yeah, because that's the other thing as well. Like I normally don't play a lot of multiplayer games, especially like this, like a multiplayer required game.
Whereas I'm a sucker for the word co-op in any title.
Yeah, mostly because I don't play consistently enough. I get too easily distracted and I kind of wander off from games, or I don't have enough friends that want to play it or play with me. So like I might instantly kind of bounce out of these things. But I think if like, obviously you're going to be keen on this because I don't know about you, but I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
So for me, I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to buy this, which means I need to make sure I have people to play with, because if I'm playing with bots, it's going to be a horrible experience. Like, because the second that it was no longer just Paul and I, we got munted. Sorry, when it was just Paul and I, we got munted. Like, we got destroyed. Pardon me. But, yeah. Oh, and Dave Chataway in the chat. Hey, Dave, I haven't seen you in forever, man. How you doing? But yeah, so I'm quite excited for this. I said I'll be playing some more after the recording of this show. I don't think we can stream it or anything, so probably won't be doing that at the moment. I know people are streaming, but I have to check the embargo rules again. I know we can talk about it, that's for sure, but there are people streaming it right now, so I presume it's okay. I'm also lazy, so I might not do it. However, yeah, big thank you, Koch Media, Warner Brothers. Super stoked. Playing tonight?
Yeah, man.
Playing tonight.
Yeah,
Shane crossplay at launch. If so, I'll play with you boys. Well, I'm super down, Shane.
I mean, there's crossplay.
There's
right
crossplay
now
in the beta.
There's crossplay right now in the beta. Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. Well, there you go. Well, let's make that happen. That's.
I've only been match made with PlayStation and PC
So far,
players.
yeah.
So I don't know if it's like full crossplay, or if it's everyone can play with PC.
I imagine it's PC and whatever platform you're on. That seems to be pretty standard with PlayStation. They're not going to be super open to changing that rule anytime soon.
Yeah.
But addition to Back for Blood, I have been playing another online multiplayer game, Max. You know, so I'm like, I don't play those games. All I've played this week, aside for Back for Blood, is literally Red Dead Online with Craig. It's all we've done. I think like 3 nights this week we do like Rootin Tootin, and we start Rootin Tootin Cowboy Shootin, and that's it. We just essentially wander around and just shoot animals and trade them in and do bounties, and then we'll do a couple missions here and there. And I'm now a collector. I unlocked the collector class. So I'm going and finding tarot cards and all these other bullshit, where Craig is now a trader, so he kind of buggers off for a little while and goes and gets all his pelts and skins and does delivery. So when they've, at least what we've sussed out so far, I know for anyone that's actually played Red Dead Online, it's probably old news to you, and I'm sorry. We have only just fallen back into it because I don't know why. Oh yeah, because I decided to play Red Dead Story campaign again for a while. So like there are missions within it that are very similar to GTA Online. Like, when you would get, say, a bikie gang, right? So you would then have to go get the things to house them in your warehouse, and then you house them for so long, and then you ship them in a big shipment. Same process with the traders. Like, you go and you pick up all the things, you take them back, and then you ship them in a big cart, and then you have to make sure you don't get like jacked up on the way. So like we've just been doing that. We've been very, very lucky lately. We've actually ran into a couple of other players, but everyone's been really good. They've kept to themselves, and like they walk up and they'll wave and then they'll keep going. So because we're playing a posse, which now posse is called the Posse. Hey, so yeah, we, as you say, this is the posse. Like, two of us riding in, everyone just kind of like the other players just kind of wave and then wander on through. So we've never really been griefed or anything, which has been lovely. I did have some guy run into me last night, and he kind of essentially went, "Oh shit," because I was taking my ram to this gentleman named Gus to sell the carcass and the skin. Mm-hmm. He collects me on his horse by accident. He essentially waves, picks up my ram, puts it back on my horse, and then like does another emote, and then kind of wanders off. I'm like, "Aw." Like, up here I am fucking healing myself.
And then you're standing there shooting him in the back of the head as he's walking away.
I've only confronted one player, and I shot them directly in the face. That's the only time I've ever done it. So, Craig and I were driving around, and we went into this little town, and we heard a dog make this yelping sound. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And we turn around, and there's a player who's just shot one of the dogs in this town, and he's put it on his shoulder, proving to sell the carcass. And Craig's like yelling at him through the fucking headset. He's like, "What are you doing, dude?" And I just walk up and shoot him like square in the face. Like, drop him in one instant. Like, don't shoot dogs. Them's the rules. Like, that's the one, like, one of the big hurdles with the Last of Us. Part 2. Yeah, so like, don't you fucking shoot dogs, mate. And then we took the dog, and then we put it out. We went to the church that was nearby, and we laid it in a bush near the church, just to kind of be respectful to the dead dog. But someone witnessed us carrying this fucking dog that we didn't kill. So then it's like, "Oh, someone's caught you." We're like, "We didn't fucking do anything." So this witness is like, "Ah!" Starts running away, so we chase him down, fucking hog-tie that bastard, put him next to the dog in the church. And someone saw us hog-tie, and they're like, "Fuck this noise." So we just started like blasting everyone that was nearby. And they're like, all because one dude shot a dog. Like, we were okay murdering the town, but you don't fucking kill dogs, mate. And look, admittedly, I believe I may have damaged Craig's horse, and it hasn't been the same since. The first time we played together, I ran directly over it with a cart, and it's that horse is fucked. Like, it's a hot mess now. Like, I don't know whether horses can get acquired brain injuries, but Trevor has one.
And what was the name of your horse again?
Oh, it's just Brian. It was Brian Retson, but because I couldn't think of a name when I first played online, I guess. But now it's just Brian. So we got Trevor and Brian. It just works. It's good stuff. But yeah, so we gave it all the love, and we make sure we look. So Craig's very into the role playing of it, and he looks after Trevor very much. Trevor gets lots of love, lots of love. Puck's horse is named Pony Montana. That's a good one. That's a really good one, actually. Let's see what Kumquats jumped in, and they've said, I played online for ages. It's really good, but the randoms do my head in. 2 guys kidnapped me and tried to feed me to the alligators, but we ended up in this massive brawl for like 2 hours, kills for ages. Damn. Yeah, no, I'm having like an unmeasured amount of fun in Red Dead Online. I didn't think that I would.
I may or may not have uninstalled it right before this show so I could download and try out the PlayStation Plus games, because once again, my fucking hard drive is full.
It's almost like you need a beta software that you can put a thing in.
And like, it's such a first world problem thing. It's like, I've got so much stuff to play that my hard drive is constantly full.
Look, either get a fucking external hard... Well, because you don't really play a lot of PS4 games, do you?
I don't play a lot of PlayStation 4 games at the moment, no. But the issue is, the games that I'm currently playing are all massive. Like, I've got COD installed. There's 150 gig. Destiny, 110 gig. Red Dead was 110 gig, but that's gone now. Like, GTA, 90 gig. I guess I could put GTA on a hard drive.
Well, yeah, you just, and same as Red Dead, right? Just get an external and just put them on there. Because I have Red Dead, I have GTA all on an external, so my main drive's actually reasonably free.
Well, hopefully this firmware update will come out soon, and then I'll scrounge together some cash, buy Mark Cerny approved
the WD Black 850 or whatever, which is like fucking expensive, by the way.
They are the same price as what you pay for the Seagate 1 terabyte expansion cards for the Xbox. They're the same price.
I know, but it's just expensive.
And at least they're not proprietary, which means they're going to come down in price.
Yeah, that part is good.
If you're not in a rush, like I am, wait.
Yeah.
They will come down in price because the next gen of them will come out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, like I really, because I know there's been a lot of debate about, it's too much hard work. I'm like, you take off the side panel, you fucking plug it in, you screw it down, and you close the lid again. Bingo, congratulations, it's done. You know, like, but like, because it's the irony of it all is that I saw people bitching and like, Xbox are doing it better with their thing. I'm like, you're the same butts that were sitting there bitching about the Vita having proprietary memory cards. Did you not? Like, proprietary is not the answer. But I just forgot. I was blissfully unaware how expensive SD cards, NVMe SSDs are. Like, fuck me, I was not prepared.
Well, I was jokingly like, maybe I'll get a 4 terabyte, and then I saw that they were $1,000. I'm like, I'm not paying to have $1,000. I'm not paying $1,000. I'm not paying more than my console.
Plus,
to get some extra storage. Yeah.
I'm not playing a fucking bootleg, a black market console price. Speaking of black market console prices, they may not be a thing anymore, because let's jump in the section called Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation. Now, Max, as I said, I was kind of burying the lead. Opening story, it's the name of the episode. More PS5s are allegedly coming.
Yeah, so CFO Hiroki Totoki, in a conference call earlier this week, stated that Sony has secured the chipsets needed to manufacture enough PlayStation 5 consoles to achieve their target of 22.6 million units by the end of fiscal year, which is 31st of March next year. Sony is also now making a profit on its $499.99 model, so I believe that's USD, so I think that's the disc.
That's the disc one, yeah,
model.
From memory.
They say they are now making a profit on those consoles, according to a Bloomberg report.
I imagine like remember they talked about changing the chip size and printing out of building out of Taiwan and stuff. So I think probably a spread across those multi variables that they'll be able to save some coin. But
yeah,
pardon me, like 22 because they're apparently 10 million out in the wild now. So that's another 12.6 million potentially between now and March. So what's that, like, for 7 months? Do you think that we're going to be at a position anytime soon where people can buy them off the shelf?
No,
neither. Like, I think the foreseeable future.
I think with the amount of people who want one still, because there's such high demand for them, I think we're still going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
To be able to just casually walk into a store and be like, "Ooh, there's one on the shelf. I'm going to pick it up."
Yeah, like I think there might be occasional one from like a return or whatever, but like even though like as Totoki says, like they have acquired the chips to build them, but I think that there seems to be such an unprecedented level of demand when it comes to the PlayStation 5, and I mean that as in, I think the whole scarcity of it is what's feeding it, like in the same way that it did with the Wii. However, the difference here is this isn't an artificial scarcity. This is a legit scarcity because it's hard to make.
We've spoken about this before, and I know our situation is very different because we were lucky enough to get one at launch. but there's really not that many PlayStation 5 exclusive titles that you can't wait to play.
Very, very true. And we talked about that last week as well. But the people are still excited. People are still wanting
And
the console.
I get that mentality of newest, latest, best, and that's everyone gets it from time to time. And I know it's rich coming from the guy who was lucky enough to get one at launch. But as it stands, like you're really not missing out on much, especially with the.
And you also got to remember, two people that are running a PlayStation pod. Anything we should be like, fuck yeah, buy a PlayStation. We're like, don't buy a PS5 right now. Fucking wait it out. It's all cool.
Yeah.
If you don't have an easy way to secure one right now,
a lot of their big flagship titles have been pushed into next year anyway, and most of those are still coming to PlayStation 4.
But
So you're really not missing out on much unless you're like a huge Ratchet and Clank fan or a huge Housemarque fan.
So one of the comments that have come out around the availability, and there are 10 million consoles out there, but no one seems to have one according to the internet. One of the arguments that come around that is most of the like a good portion of this 10 million are in scalpers' hands. Do you believe that to be true?
Probably.
I don't, because a scalper shouldn't be holding on to them. Why do that? As they become more readily available, they're worth less and less and less and less, right? Are they not?
It depends on in theory, yes, but it also depends because if the scalpers are the ones who are getting them every single time, it's not going to reduce that demand.
That's true.
And it just depends on if people are willing to spend $500 above market value for a console.
No.
But it's funny, like you talk about there's 10 million out there. I play a lot of Destiny, which is cross generational now, and you can tell when you're in a party with a PlayStation 4 player because it takes an extra 30 seconds to load into anything. You have to wait for them. Like so many times, like a friend of the show Noodle and I will be raiding, and if we don't load in like straight away, one of us is like, "Oh, who's on the PlayStation 4?"
You can tell is that quick?
You can tell.
Wow.
Like there is you have to wait for you gotta wait for everyone to begin.
That's fair.
And yeah, it's rough. But good news is hopefully it will be better. And hopefully all of those people who are still searching for one can get one soon.
Well, Buddy in the chat suggests that probably Q1 of 2022 for readily available PlayStations. Now, as he is someone that works within that space, I imagine at least within his circle, within his area, within his region, he'll have a fair understanding of the demand. So I think that's probably some good information we can probably run with, I think.
Yeah.
I don't work in... I know is that I've tried to get some for work and it's been near impossible. So, woo.
Next up, PlayStation Plus subscribers recorded by Sony has actually dropped for the first significant time. It's been a loss of 1.3 million subscribers compared to the previous quarter across fiscal year 2020. Quarter one recorded 45 million memberships, which then increased to 45.9 million in quarter two. It then trended upwards once more with 47.4 million in Q3 and finally 47.6 in Q4. The first count of fiscal year 2021 now brings it back down to 46.3 million members. Speaking during a webcast, CFO Hiroki Totoki blamed the quarter's decline in PS Plus subscribers and overall monthly active users on the previous year's coronavirus lockdowns and how they increased game activity time. This was reported by VGC. He basically said because of the stay-at-home orders, the lockdown orders, lots more people were playing games. Now that that's kind of lifted in many countries around the world, a lot of people back at their jobs, back in their offices, they don't have as much time to play games. Makes sense.
It does make sense, but PS Plus itself, like, unless you were only playing like Destiny or anything that required a multiplayer online pass for your entire time in the various lockdowns, I don't see there being a need to cease your PlayStation Plus, right?
But I would imagine a lot of people were using games as a form of socializing, and if you're playing an online
still are.
game, you have PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, like we still are using it as a form of socialization. It's the only, I guess, that's how Craig and I are catching up, throughout the week. But do you think this is a mix of people that have bought a year pass and they've just let it lapse, rather than actively potentially not renewing it? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think so. I mean, most of the times, like now, it's subscription based anyway. Yeah, it doesn't lapse; it just recharges you for a year,
But yeah, like
unless you specifically go in and cancel it.
that's my point. So like the only like my understanding
Yeah.
is that majority of people would either buy them in cards at a store, or pay
Yeah.
for or would have an ongoing subscription, right? So the only way that they would go and buy a year, because like this lockdown's looking pretty quiet. Let's buy a year, and then see what happens and let it lapse. Like this is not. I'm not like tinfoil hatting this bastard to be like maybe everyone bounced on let their PS Plus lapse so they can go play Games Pass or something. But
In the grand scheme of things, I don't think 1.3 million subscribers is a big hit.
me either. I do think it will pick itself back up.
And it's just quarter 1, so it'll be interesting to see what the numbers are at quarter 2 and for the rest of the year. Now that these new strains come out, a lot more places are going back into lockdown. Will that pick things back up again for people? What's what's going to be that repercussion of how we live our lives now?
Yeah, look, and I know we're getting in the weeds because like we as the average person shouldn't really give a shit about the PlayStation Plus numbers, right? It doesn't affect anything, especially as you mentioned, such a marginal drop. It's not going to overly affect PS Plus or our PS Plus experience. Like they would still deliver the shitty games that they did this month, regardless of however they, the sales going up or down.
Like, have you played the games this month to confirm they are shitty?
I'm going solely by you. I trust you.
Okay. I played 2 of the. What was the? I can't even.
You
remember.
played Hunter's Legend. You played tennis.
I played a game of Hunter's Legends and it was mediocre at best. And AO tennis. No, sorry, not AO tennis. I think it was World Tour tennis or Tennis World Tour or something too. It's not good.
Yeah. The reason, like, I'm not playing them because I'm not going to. So I will take. You are my trusted source. If you were to tell me
on the back end of the last couple of months, we have been fairly spoiled. In a way, we have gotten some really good titles the last couple of months. We were due for a mediocre month.
Yeah, there has to be a subpar month, and we'll see what happens.
Ideally, it would have been next month when a ton of games are coming out in September, and I wasn't going to play the PlayStation Plus games anyway. That would have been great.
Very, very true. Speaking of but before next month kicks in, the back end of this month, the Gamescom Opening Night Live is coming back, Max. It is approaching, and producer/presenter Jeff Keighley has taken to Twitter to announce that it will be streaming live on August the 25th. Keighley states it's a Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday.
This is the one problem with like the whole digital release thing. They can do whatever day they want. Keighley states the show will run for 2 hours and will feature, quote, this holiday's biggest upcoming video games and what lies beyond, end quote. So we're going to see essentially a showcase for the back end of the year, and then obviously what's heading into 2022. What do you expect to see out of this, Max? Do you have any ideas? Anything?
It's really hard because Keighley now has that pull with almost everyone that he can kind of get stuff that, he got Elden Ring for Summer Games Fest. He's had some big profile stuff in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if he does get a fair bit of stuff.
And he's bros with Kojima. So we should know about this abandoned thing in the next couple of days, by the way.
Yeah, I think the first trailer drops on the 10th of August.
Yeah, so it'd be a day after this releases. So it'll be.
Make sure
we'll get to it later, but
ready. Go
check it out. Have it. You can pre-install it on your PS5 and I think PS4 now as well. So why not? Big thank you for the follow there, Masonic Zero. Appreciate it. But in terms of what we see for the back end of the year, not a whole lot. We're not going to see anything from PlayStation. I think they are going to wait for a state of play or tinfoil hat come the 10th. When this abandoned quote trailer drops. It ain't a fucking trailer. It's PlayStation experience, and they'll be showing you what they are planning moving forward. It'll essentially be an app that just shows off PlayStation's future. It's a state of play app almost. That's what I'm thinking. Fucking tinfoil cowboy hat on, like it's a big bastard, right? Blocking all the waves. However, that's my theory.
It's
we're
wrong.
going to see. It's fucking.
I'm calling it now.
It's so wrong. Because as I was explaining the other day, like PlayStation, like here I am thinking that there's going to be this awesome interactive app that PlayStation will be able to, because they have no interest in going to conventions or anything right now. The future of games presentation is digital, right? So
they're gonna finally use that Gaikai acquisition. They're gonna give us interactive shit in this app. We're gonna be able to play demos. We're gonna be able to suss stuff out before it comes.
Yeah, all that sounds
not what it
really good until you remember that the fucking PSN is built on chicken wire and potatoes. And then you go, oh, but I somehow think they can make this like a fucking app that works this well and can deliver these actual things. No, Ryan, you moron. They can't do any of those things. So like, I know my theory's up here. Delivery is down here. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, I don't. So for that in mind, Gamescom, I don't know what we'll see. Maybe some Call of Duty shit. Maybe some Battlefield
I think
shit.
it is about that time where they start rolling out their coverage for the new Call of Duty.
Well, Call of Duty normally happens already. They normally gets revealed in June, but apparently they're having a bit of trouble this year. And no, not just Activision being dumpster people, but I mean like the actual problem with the development of the game.
Which is really weird because they had the same problem last year with the development, and Raven and Treyarch took back over for the other studio that was
Sledgehammer. So Sledgehammer was meant to do it last year, didn't, and I think they're doing it this year now, and then they're also fucking it up. So I think Sledgehammer might be done, but I think Activision and Blizzard may also be done for us anyway.
Well, we do know something that's coming later this month.
Yes.
And that's the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. What I didn't expect, however, was the multiplayer component Legends is now being released as a standalone title. It's currently priced, from what I can see, at $19.99 USD, so $25-$30 here in Ausland. So Legends is also getting a new game mode called Rivals. Rivals is a 2v2 competitive mode. And instead of fighting the enemy team directly, you defeat enemies, which will earn you what they refer to as Magatama, which is used to negatively affect your opponents, with the first team to beat the final enemy wave being the winner. So for anyone who plays Destiny, it's basically Gambit mode, where it's a PvE, PvP mode, which seems cool. It will get me back into it because I really liked Legends. I'd never ever finished Ghost of Tsushima story mode, but I played the crap out of the multiplayer. So Rivals will be launching September 3rd, so a little bit after the launch of the Director's Cut. They have also added a gear mastery system to give you something to grind for endgame. Quote, this is a new expansion of progression systems and rewards for Legends. Players who have earned the item level 110 gear will now be able to bind it to a class and activate what they're referring to as mastery challenges. So Sucker Punch is also promising, quote, a new piece of content each week from September 10th through to October 1st, which will include additional Rivals maps, new survival maps inspired by the Iki Island expansion and the Eo's Realm raid, and Trials of Eo, a new harder difficulty version of last year's raid that also offers challenges in bite-sized chunks. And we'll have a new set of online leaderboards. I think that's enough to get me back into the multiplayer personally.
Because you had such a major hard-on for the multiplayer.
It was really cool. It was a really cool system, and it baffles me because it's the exact same gameplay as a single player, but for some reason or another, I never got into it.
Yeah, well, I was the exact opposite. Like I knew very I knew very well going in that it wasn't going to be my shit. Like I am not a big fan of samurai or that imagery or even sort of that whole angle, right? So I knew going in that it would be a little bit too weeby for me, and I would lose interest. And I did play. I got through the first island and a little bit into the second. Then I was like, I got bored and sort of wandered off. So I do kind of want to go back.
I think this PS5 re-release will get me to go back and give it another crack.
Yeah, and look, to make it even better, just better for us, like we were very kindly provided the review code for the Ghost of Tsushima from PlayStation Australia, so we can we'll be doing the upgrade, the $10, $15 upgrade. I'll just throw the money at it, like I'm like, fucking look at me and my sweet privilege, just like, hey, here's the money to upgrade it for us, and then that will allow you and me to play it on the PS5.
I think I own it.
Oh, because you're a giant dork. So you went and bought it yourself. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, I'll pay the $10 and get it bumped for me.
So yeah.
But that should be dope. I'm keen to check it out again just to see, because the game was visually stunning on the PlayStation 4 Pro. I would love to see what it looks like on the PS5. I have a feeling I will bounce out relatively quickly again, just because it's not for me. But it is. I've got a month to play some to fill in with games before shit gets mental in September.
Is crazy.
So like I'm playing Red Dead right now, as I said at the start of the show. So hopefully want to finish that, because I've never finished Red Dead 2. I got distracted by like Wolfenstein and Mario Odyssey and something else that came out that month. In what a year it was. But yeah, so that's the plan. But the Ghost of Tsushima should be pretty sweet in its director's cut form for the PS5. Speaking of games that are coming to PS5, Max. The launch of The Medium is next week. This is the game made by Bloober Team. Previously, freaking Xbox Series, whatever the fuck, exclusive. Joke's on them. It's coming to PS5 now. And to make things even better, Bloober Team have taken advantage of the PS5 DualSense controller. So charging up a Spirit Blast engages the adaptive triggers, lessening their tension the more it builds up. Haptic feedback will simulate moths attacking your spirit shield when the ability is put to use. It'll feel like the creatures are attacking you from all sides as the upgraded rumble feature is activated. So it obviously will disperse the rumble around the controller, as we've seen it do with the likes of Astrobot and whatnot. I lost my spot. Another way it will be used is when a protagonist, Marianne, must hold her breath to avoid detection from some of the more dangerous nightmares in the medium. As she struggles to resist taking a breath, the haptic feedback motors will accelerate onto the controller's built-in speaker, and it will imitate the sounds of the tool or device you're using in-game. Finally, the light bar surrounding the touchpad replicates your flashlight. Whenever a monster is nearby, it flashes. The light bar will do the very same thing out in the real world, just to make sure you're extra alert. The Medium is set to release on PS5 on September 3rd. Now, Max, I haven't played this because it is on an Xbox. I don't have an Xbox. You played this on PC, did you not?
I played it on PC, and I got to a point where it crashed and I couldn't progress.
I was going to say, do you think these features will make it better? It's not going to make it worse.
It'll make it more immersive. It definitely can't make it worse. But
I'm admittedly interested, very interested. I love a good spooks game, as I've come to learn the last couple of years. Yeah. The likes of Resident Evil and stuff like that. Always had a soft spot for Silent Hill, and if Bloober Team are working on a Silent Hill game in the future, which we're led to believe that could be the case, if I give them my money for the Medium, that means that Silent Hill game in the future could certainly be happening, and I want to fund that because I want a Silent Hill game, something fierce. So I will check it out. And look, taking advantage of the DualSense is, I say that because there's one right here. It's certainly not a bad thing, because one of the biggest problems and concerns that we had
with your black DualSense.
That's right. One of the biggest problems and concerns we had coming into the PS5 were like, hey, the DualSense is great, but what's the chance of third-party companies taking advantage of it and using it? And the answer is very minimal. So it's nice to see when a game does get that right support, and I think there should be at least some community and fan support for those games to show that, hey, we want this controller to be used the way it should.
Yeah, of course. Next up, we have some more Team Asobi news. So following last week's hiring story, it has launched a new website. Firstly, this website makes it clear that the studio is focused on family-friendly experiences. Quote, "We create top-quality games for players of all ages on PlayStation." But speaking of future projects, the description goes on to state Team Asobi is currently, quote, "hard at work on their most ambitious game yet." Given the positive reception to the PlayStation 5's Astro's Playroom, it looks like Sony may have greenlit a follow-up with a larger scope.
They would have been dumb to not back up with another Astrobot game. Astrobot is sick, and I like... So they're having them...
It's such a charming character.
It is. It really is. And it's nice that, we discussed this previously as well. Like, they are giving the love to Team Asobi. They're giving the love to Astrobot. Essentially, I think they want them to be, or them, I'm not sure what the gender of the Astrobot is. It's a robot, I guess. Whatever the future of Astrobot is, it looks good. It looks bright. It looks big. And I'm excited to see what it becomes. And you're having Team Asobi sort of get the backing supports they need, which is mint. As a parent myself, them focusing on players of all ages is a big plus. Because my son's 4 and he loves playing games with me, but here I am shooting people in the face in Red Dead, or I was playing Resident Evil 2, and he was watching me like, Daddy, what's happening? I'm like, don't look at it, don't look at any of this. So be able to have some games that are appropriate for him, because there is really childish games, there's teenage games, and then there's adult games. There's none of these in the middle games. Like, my son would enjoy those super childish games, but I want some that push him that little bit harder and sort of give him that a bit of extra.
Get him to play Mario.
Yeah, so Mario works with.
And then if that's too easy, you get him to play Kaizo Mario games where they just constantly wreck his day.
So we've been playing a lot of Little Big Planet recently. Yeah. And he's been because it's a ton of fun, and I've talked about on the show before about we're playing the Paw Patrol games together. So we played the Paw Patrol on a Roll, which came out a couple years ago, which is essentially a 2D platformer, and then it escalates itself into a 3D sort of open world game. And there's a new one coming out next month that we're going to pick up for him as well, which hopefully is a leap again, because it's really good to see like the game's almost growing with him. So as his skills are getting better, the game is asking of more. And there's also a PJ Masks game coming out in October, which I know he'll just absolutely shit his pants for. It looks kind of shitty. It does not look good. However,
funny though,
he will love it. And that's what's important. Yeah. So yeah, the idea is
he might not. He'll come in and be like, "This is crap."
But I mean that in terms of PlayStation's focus, to their credit, are focusing on the adults, on the adult gamers. If you look at all, essentially, apart from like Ratchet and Clank, their future slate, or at least their last recent years, have been high aged games. Last of Us Part 2 is very adult. God of War is quite adult. Ghost of Tsushima is quite adult in a number of ways.
You said Ghost of Shoemaker?
Yeah, I fucking had a stroke, all right? Like Returnal, Demon Souls, like there's not a lot of all appropriate games, right? Or all age games. So Team Asobi, I'm giving you my thumbs up to make some more family friendly games. Please do. Speaking of not family-friendly games, though, Battlefield 2042, the latest in EA's Battlefield series. It is known, Max, that the upcoming shooter will not have a single-player campaign. Instead, it has opted for a short film to release to set up any backstory for the war that is taking place within the game. The movie is titled Exodus and is a short film, and it is due to be released on the 12th of August, so in the coming days. This standalone movie will set up the story behind the game's history, the game's lore, and DICE has already established a timeline of events leading up to the game, contextualizing the action with a history of global warming, economic collapse, political disruption. But I guarantee you, Max, it is not a political game. EA will come out with a statement saying that none of these themes are political. They just want to tell a story, and everyone will be like, "Are you fucking aware that everything you just said is political?" They want to tell a
story without a campaign.
Yeah.
Look, I think Battlefield is going to do really, really well this year. I think after its break, a lot of people are hanging out for that difference.
Sorry, in the chat, Ghost from Park, Ghost of Michael Shoemaker. Is that too soon? Isn't he been dead for like a while? Or I don't know. Oh, I feel bad saying that out loud now. Oh,
but and I think also, considering the fact that a lot of people either go one or the other with Battlefield or Call of Duty, I have a feeling that a lot more people are going to pick Battlefield this time around this year with everything that's going on.
Yeah, I do think, because Battlefield's also benefited from not releasing last year. There's a little bit of demand for it. And although I am worried about its completely online space, I know very few people obviously play the campaigns of Battlefield. I did. I loved it. Like, give me Battlefield Bad Company or Bad Company 2. That's what I want to play again. I loved Bad Company. So I understand why they.
I mean, you kind of sort of can play Bad Company and Bad Company 2 with Battlefield Portal.
I technically can. I can make it there in a different way. Different way. Did you get the quick bits this week?
I've got the quick bits this week.
Success.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Quick bits.
Everything's
Number
returning
one.
to what it should be.
Deathloop has gone gold ahead of its September release. Congratulations to Arcane Studios.
That means, ladies and gentlemen, and the people of the world, that there'll be no more fucking state of plays with footage of that game in it. Now we're just getting the game, which is awesome.
Hang on. Don't commit to that yet.
There could be a state of play this month, and they'll just show us more for some reason. So
they'll do a video walkthrough of the first level. Next up, we have Ariana Grande is doing a Rift tour in Fortnite and can now be played as a playable character.
Wait, I can play as Ariana Grande?
You can buy Ariana Grande.
Fuck me. Apparently that's what's going to get me over the line. That is what's going to get me to play Fortnite.
Apparently, rumor has it they've also acquired the rights to Naruto as well, so we may see some anime characters heading to Fortnite soon.
Look, really, like, Fortnite is the equivalent of it is non-Nintendo Smash Brothers.
It's a third person shooter, I guess. It's a third person shooter Smash Brothers.
Like everything you've ever wanted just to like fuck each other. It's Ready Player One it's Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. Mass Effect Legendary Edition has sold way above EA's expectations.
What did they think was going to happen?
The thing that their fans wanted the most ever
sold really well.
Sold really well.
Shocker.
Who would have thought that happens? Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War will be getting an Among Us style game mode.
That's gonna sound. I'm just gonna put it out there right now. It's gonna be gross. Not because of it's Among Us copying. Because hey, remember that time when Call of Duty used to be the leader in their field, but now they're battle royaling after everyone else has done it. They're now Among Us-ing afterwards. Fucking Call of Duty's dead in terms of its actual creativity. However, but like
it's been the same game for the last 13 cycles.
But I want to add like Among Us and the idea that like, hey, you have to call someone out and be like, hey, this person's suspicious. Can you imagine the toxicity in a Call of Duty lobby when you have to call out someone?
Yes, 100%.
It's gonna be minging. It's gonna be so gross.
Well, what are you gonna do? Skater XL gets multiplayer on PlayStation.
Beautiful. Skater XL is brilliant, and like what I love.
While we wait for Skate 4.
Yeah. So what I love about Skater XL is that it's the closest you can get to just going and skating because there is no goals. There's no like goals setting in where there's no high scores. It's just here's an area to skate in, and now you can do it with your mates. Like that's what skateboarding is. Skateboarding is best when you go and do it with your friends. You know what I mean? You just go in and you skate and like you watch someone do it. And you're like, well, can you replicate it? Sure, I'll give it a try. And I think it's like it really captured that energy of skateboarding in its single player. Chucking the multi on there as well can only really funnel that energy more and better, I guess. So shout out to them. I'm very keen.
Evil Dead, the game, has been delayed until February 2022, but could be receiving a single player mode.
Well, because this was going to be like the Friday 13th Dead by Daylight sort of asymmetrical multi.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Which is cool.
I know there's a lot of excitement around for the Evil Dead game.
I'm concerned that they're going to run into licensing problems again, like they did with Friday the 13th. I find those games, those games are problematic with there being they're only fun depending on who you're playing with.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can just be really boring. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully, it does get a single player. That would be really cool.
It would make me pick it up. It would make me interested. Yeah.
I guess the biggest news in this quick bit is that, surprising no one, GTA 5 has sold over 350 million copies, with Red Dead Redemption 2 sitting at 38 million.
Holy fuck. That is such an insane.
I heard rumors that they're looking at releasing a new Grand Theft Auto in like 3 to 4 years' time. They don't need it. GTA 5 is still sitting in the top solid list every week month after month. They're making money hand over fist in that game, but with people buying its in-game currency. Every time they release a new expansion for GTA Online, you have to buy something new. You have to buy, like, when the casino heist came out, you had to buy an arcade. When you've got all these stuff coming out, every time you want to do the new stuff, you need that new item that comes with the game. They're generally very expensive, and if you don't play the game often enough, you will spend that $20-$30 to try and get to expedite things.
All right, so here are the top 10 best-selling games for the week ending the 1st of August 2021. Number 10, I don't know what the fuck that game is.
Neo Tokyo World Ends With You.
There you go. What was it?
World Ends With You.
Yeah, that one.
It's the remaster of the old DS game.
It's a very weeby-looking cover. Number 9, It Takes Two. Pardon me. Number 8, Gran Turismo Sport. Number 7, Formula 1 2021. Number 6, Olympics, Tokyo, that one. Have you gone back to that yet?
The Olympics, we played a few rounds earlier in the week. The games are fun. They're very simplistic. It's a $50 game. Like it's a very average. We bought it for a laugh. We probably got our $50 worth out of it, to be honest.
Number 5, NBA 2K21. Number 4, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 3, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 2, EA Sports FIFA 21. And in order to assist for that $350 million copies, number 1, Grand Theft Auto 5. Fucking insane.
Upcoming releases. We have I Am Dead coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 August 9th.
Me too, game. Me too.
Blackboard coming to PlayStation 4 August 10th.
Not based on the really good BBC series with Dylan Moran.
No. Ever Forward coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 August 10th. Godfall coming to PlayStation 4 August 10th. Foreclosed coming to PS4 and PlayStation 5 August 12th. And the big one this week, Hades, coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 August 13.
I cannot wait to play Hades, get real bad at it, get real mad at it, and turn it off.
I may have already pre-installed it on the Xbox.
You fucking nerd.
But I would probably also buy it on PlayStation because I want them trophies.
Yeah. Because I just don't play any other console. So for me, it's a toughie to want to play it anywhere else. Buddy in the chat asked the question: are any of you guys going to play the Alien game? I'm assuming that's the Alien asymmetrical multi.
No.
Why not?
I gave up on asymmetrical multiplayer games. Like I said, they're only fun depending on who you're playing with. I'm not a huge Alien guy. Friday the 13th was fun for me because I'm a fan of that IP. I thought Predator was also going to bring me in. It did not, which is a real shame. Dead by Daylight is fun purely because it has such a wide scope of IPs. But generally, I'm not a huge fan of those games. They're fun for a couple of nights or on a whim, but they're not something that I constantly go to play.
Yeah. Buddy also praises our trophy love in the chat because that's the thing. Like, so when it comes to the trophies, neither you or I are trophy hunters by any stretch of the imagination. Like we will never make that claim, nor will we ever fucking lie. Our trophies are unless we have to cover them for embargo purposes, or whatever. You can always go see our shit. It's right then and there. But I do enjoy getting trophies, and they do come into consideration for where I play a game. And I'm not like Hades, it's on Switch. I'm like, no. If I'm gonna play it, I
probably wouldn't play that game on Switch.
No, if I want to just get 3 trophies out of its 50 fucking trophies, I want to get them on PlayStation. And you will see that I played it for a little bit and I didn't play the rest of it. That's
Returnal.
Yeah, like Returnal. You can see the four trophies I got in Returnal and the fact that I never got past Biome 3. So if I ever claim anything different, you can't. It's fucking there. But yeah, they do play right, and I find that they play a bigger role probably in the last year or so than I've ever realized. Because even with Trigger Witch, playing it recently, I was like, oh, I want to see how I go about. I'm not at a point where I need to get them all. I'm just like, oh, how many I can get before I push my limit of how hard I want to try.
I'm like that in some games. Like I'll go in with the mindset of like I can
Nice.
totally get the platinum on this. And you look at my Spider-Man trophies, like just go collect all the backpacks, dude, and you're done. I'm like, come
Oh,
on.
fuck that, yeah. As I said,
And it's the same. It's the same with my God of War. It's like, oh, just go find all the ravens. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not doing that.
well, it's even like, like Trigger Witch. So, we talked about last week. So our friend Jono, who wrote it, he reached out to me and was like, hey, I looked at your list. The trophies you've got are like not that hard. You just got to grind a little bit. I'm like,
I did it with Ratchet was my last platinum.
yeah, Ratchet was dope.
And
That was super easy though.
And I almost didn't platinum it because one of the trophies was hit all those stupid transit crystals, and I'm like, there's like so many, and if I've missed one and I have to go back through and hit every single one to work out which one I haven't missed, I'm not doing it. And it turns out the first 3 that I hit popped the trophy for me. I'm like, oh, sweet. Because I totally would have been like, fuck this if it didn't pop.
Yeah. And also big thank you to Peter Pratik for the follow there as well. You've come just at the most unopportune time, my friend, because we are about to wrap up the show. So big thank you for everyone for joining us today in, once again, this locked down episode of For the Players, the PopC PlayStation pod. I hope you guys are all surviving the absolute best that you can. Shit's hard right now. Shit's fucked. But I hope you are doing well.
Be kind to each other.
Be kind. Wear your
Stay
mask.
inside.
Get vaccinated if you can. Do what you can do. I want to go do things again, and I'm sure you do too. Let's make it happen. Max.
Well, everyone, this PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all of that fun stuff can be found in the description below.
If you want to join us as the conversation happens, you can head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can get in the chat and become part of the show. Like, we love having that interaction. It's an absolute blast. And we're always got an eye on chat. We're always looking at ways you guys can get involved. It's awesome. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to leave us a like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit without logos on it. But until next week, which I can only presume we're talking about this PlayStation Experience app, Max. It will not.
I cannot wait to hear you rant. My guess is Ryan's going to be very, very angry next week, and it's going to be predominantly 1 hour of Ryan getting so mad for no apparent reason whatsoever, because he's hyped himself up to a point that it's now his own fault that he didn't get what he wanted.
Look, either I will create such ridiculous expectation that I will be sad and disappointed, or look.
It's going to start with, this is what you promised me, Blue Box, and you didn't fucking deliver.
Yeah, either look, this is exciting because either we'll learn the Blue Box has been full of shit this entire time and they're fucking nobodies, or it's a Kojima project, or it's a cool PlayStation Experience app that allows us to
Imagine
do
if
shit.
it's neither of those. Blue Box is real, and they're actually just making this fucking sick survival game.
It won't be sick. They've only used asset flips for the last trailer and marketing. This is either going to be one of the most. This is going to be an absolute disaster.
Ryan.
It's
Leave
going to
Blue Box alone.
No, it's going to be an absolute disaster on ET levels, or it'll be one of the greatest and fucking biggest twists. And both are amazing. Look, either the train's going to go really, really well, or it's going to crash, and I can't fucking wait. Give me both. All right, but until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players.
Jeez, I bring up Zill in the show when he falls asleep watching the podcast. What an asshole.
Oh, hey guys, I love your show. It's so good I fell asleep. Fuck you, Zill.